Hi, Daniel Hall here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have something really special for you. Once again, I bring back my good friend and business partner, Lisa Rothstein. And in today's video, Lisa is going to show you how to illustrate and or draw and or doodle for your books, your social media, and your marketing and branding. Specifically today, call outs and symbols, which are so useful in all those areas. So with that, we're gonna jump into today's video in just a moment. I did wanna remind you that if you like this type of training and you like Lisa's teaching style, we do have all of Lisa's free art classes available for you. You could watch it right now. No opt-in required. Just head on over to realfastdoodleprofits.com/FB. I'll leave the link for it in the description below. With that, let's jump into the training right now.
There's all kinds of different symbols. That's a really good point. I'm going to show you that right now. There's all kinds of different symbols that you can, let's see, that you can use.
And you don't have to do this with Procreate in an iPad. You could be doing this on pen and paper.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do this on pen and paper, and I can do it on pen and paper if you want me to, Daniel. I just switched over to this just to be able to show you how this works. In fact, well, since I'm here now, I'll just do this now. So I'm using the technical pen. What's great about using the iPad is that you can change what this is a pencil, but I have a lot of different techniques I can use. I can pick my colors and everything. But let's just say I'm just going to do it in black. And Sprinkles had a business book, Starburst callouts and whatever. The great thing is you can also use them over and over again. So a starburst would just be just like what you just said. You could just make something like that, and then just use that over and over again. Oh, I'm spitting on this. Sorry about that, you guys. Call outs, I think, are things like this. That would be like you can find a lot of these things online too, like on Doodles and things like that, if that's what you want, but it's a lot of fun to be able to do them yourself. You can also create some kind of a little like character of your own. It could be you. You could start with a keyhole pen and create a little character of your own. That could be, like, if I was going to do one of myself, like being like the smart person in the room, I would just, I would give myself, this kind of hair, and just make this be my, this person giving. Let's see, I'm left-handed, so I'll put the marker on my left hand. Giving sage advice. And now I could just be this character going through the entire business book or something like that. And every once in a while, I could say something that would be, and you could just add whatever you wanted to in this bubble. So there are all kinds of doodles you can make. Them. Sometimes you can do warning signs or stop signs, which is pretty simple. That's just a hexagon, octagon, I think. And you can, and if you wanted to, I'm going to add another layer so I can do colors. What happened to my? I wanted to do. Whoops. Yeah, layer 2. If I wanted to do colors, I could, make the stop sign red. And so now I have this thing and I can just use it over and over again. I might make the starburst yellow. The other thing that's great about the iPad is because this color is on a separate layer. I'll use my other hand. Because these colors are on a separate layer, I can turn it on and off whenever I want, and I can also erase anything that's outside the lines. If I don't want it to go outside the lines, I can erase it without erasing the line that I just made. So it's a little bit like being able to draw on infinite numbers of tracing papers. You could also create, make this seem more white by making an outside, I can color outside the shape. See, and now the balloon looks more. But if you're just doing something that's just black and white, you can just do these the doodles that are not in color, and they still read. So what's really important to know, and we talk about this a lot in our class, is that there are a lot of things you can draw just with very, very simple shapes. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, for just very simple shapes. So I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller so I can, oops, so that I can use more of the paper, more of the surface here. So there's another thing that you can do in the iPad that you can't do on paper is make everything smaller and move it over. But if I were going to draw a circle, I've got a circle there, but that circle can be. Here's another thing I'm gonna do. I'm going to yeah, I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to paste it. So now I'm going to paste it again, just like what I did with the heads. So just a couple more times, just to show you what you can do as far as symbols and things like that. So this is just based on a circle. So I could decide I wanted to talk about how our sales targets are whatever. And now I've got a target, and look, I'm being really sloppy about it too. But even just in black and white, you know that's the target, especially if you add an arrow. Now you've got a target, or I could be talking about global sales or something. And now I've made the world because I just added a few squiggles. You know, and again, I don't have to be that detailed, but if I wanted to just make sure that the ocean shows up a little bit, you know, that the land and the ocean are delineated, I could do that, make that. This is not even using color. If I used color, I would be able to do make it a lot easier. I could talk about, you know, I could talk about global warming, or the sun, or heat, or morning, or something like that, and the sun could be happy because it's about optimism, or something like that. Or I could, what else can I do with a lot of people in our neighborhood are ordering pizza.
It's lunchtime.
Yeah. So, you know, here's a pizza. I don't know why you would do that, but you could. But now that we're talking about that, you know, something like that, you can have a wheel. Wheels have a lot of different symbolism, or a steering wheel of a car. You know, talking about driving somewhere. I mean, my point is that you have just from a circle, you can make all these different things, any of which can have a symbolism of a lot of different things. Like that Earth could be, you could say global warming, or travel, or world peace. Or in fact, if I wanted to do world peace, I would maybe do a bunch of star people on top of the world, you know, all holding hands and saying how wonderful it is to have world peace. I mean, now I've symbolized that. I'm doing it very quickly and crudely, but you can see what I'm talking about. The same thing with a square or a rectangle. There are lots of different things you can do with a square. A square could be an envelope. A square could be this is, I don't know what made me think of this, but, you know, like a Jack in the Box, like a surprise. Like, I mean, there's so many different things you can do with every single shape that you know, if you just start off with a square or a triangle or a rectangle, and then just say, well, what can I do with this? If I get rid of the Jack in the Box guy, because I don't have any more room and I don't feel like moving things around anymore. To get rid of the Jack in the Box guy, I could make this thing into let's say a briefcase or a shopping bag. You know, if it's a shopping bag, it's like it's got two handles. Now we've got a discussion about shopping. See, so there's so many different things you can do just starting with a very simple shape that, and it adds a lot of charm and character to your work. I don't know if that answers the call outs and doodles and things, but I mean, there are all kinds of different symbols. Here's another good symbol for a circle. Probably not the best symbol in the world, but if you wanted to, you could make it into. I know you could make it into a time bomb. And that's. Now that's a warning that something bad is about to happen. Or you could even be really obvious with it. And now I've made this into a big black time bomb, and I can actually write on it and say warning. So that tells a story right there, just that one little picture. So so as far as call outs are concerned, it really depends on a lot of other good things to know how to draw. Whoops, are things like arrows. So instead of you could always just do this, but it's nice to be able to give it some dimension, or do something with like different kinds of arrows, numbers. Instead of just having a type number, you can do stuff where you've got where you just make them all the same every time, so that people know how to follow along. And then there are other kinds of symbols like mountains, which can mean goals and things like that. There's a million different things you can do. But you can see they're all very simple shapes, and they read right away because everyone understands when they see a mountain, that means you're going to the top, or you've got a faraway goal, or it's going to be a struggle or an uphill climb or something like that. You sometimes have to give people a little bit of context and clues, but if you're using these call outs and things as an illustration to your book or something, then obviously it's not going to be living in a vacuum. That's the other thing you need to remember about your drawings, is that they're not standing by themselves. So that if you're illustrating a story, then the illustration carries part of the communication, and the words carry another part. You don't have to. The drawing itself doesn't have to read. It's good if it does, but it doesn't have to do all the work by itself.
So I hope that you like that. I know I did. I learned every time I watch Lisa do anything. I learned so much, and I hope you did as well. And if you did, I'd really appreciate if you would consider hitting the like button. And of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. We do this kind of content for folks just like you all the time, and we have so much more planned. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as well as, of course, hit the little bell notification as well, so that you will be notified every time we come up with a brand new video. With that, I do want to just say that if you like Lisa's teaching style, we have all kinds of free training from Lisa over at realfastdoodleprofits.com/FB. You can check that out free of charge, no opt-in. Just head on over to the link. I put that in the description and check it out. You're definitely going to love that. And finally, go out and be the blessing.